Hi everybody, welcome to the Lexus Virtual Classroom here at Northside and Westside Lexus in Houston, Texas. My name's Melissa O'Connell. I'm your Lexus Technology Specialist, and today we are exploring all things 2022 Lexus ES. If you're new to the Lexus Virtual Classroom, make sure to check out the index that's in the description of the video. If you're on a desktop, you'll click Show More. Otherwise, if you're watching this on a mobile format, look around the title of the video for a drop-down arrow, and then you'll be able to open up the video description and see the time-stamped index. That's going to allow you to jump through to different sections if that's your viewing preference. Although we're focusing on the 2022 model year ES, you will see some footage and images from previous model years where applicable, just to make sure that I could cover all of the features that are available for this vehicle. For the 2022 model year, there are not major changes to the ES, but the changes that have been made are pretty awesome. The biggest, of course, is the redesign of this dash, bringing the entire display closer to the driver and giving you touchscreen operation. Some other key changes: blind spot monitor and rear cross traffic alert are now standard equipment. If you have buttons on the left side of the steering wheel, they've been moved up for easier access and operation. Lexus Safety System Plus 2.0 from the previous model year has been upgraded to Lexus Safety System Plus 2.5. What that means is that you now have intersection turn assist, emergency steering assist, and all-speed dynamic radar cruise control with curb speed reduction. You'll see some other details as we move through the vehicle, like additional USB-C ports under the armrest, and then 2 more USB-C ports for the rear cabin passengers. The signature grille design has been updated, and it now has a gunmetal finish. The standard bi-LED headlights have been updated, and there's a new optional premium triple beam headlamp that offers increased light distribution on the road at night. There's some interior trim changes and color changes as well, so make sure to speak to your sales associate at your Lexus dealership so that you can get the ES with the package that you prefer. Iridium Silver and Cloudburst Gray are our new exterior colors, and Nebula Gray Pearl, Silver Lining Metallic, and Atomic Silver have been discontinued. And it's all about the details with Lexus, and the ES is no exception. You'll see a more compact motor operating the power trunk lid. That's going to help reduce weight and give a little bit more space for cargo. And then under the hood, the engine cover has been updated with additional sound absorbing material to enhance engine sound isolation. That just means it's going to be even quieter in the cabin of the new ES. It's always a good idea to be aware of the location of the parking sensors. You'll see them on the front bumper and grille. Parking sensor location on the rear bumper. So those are going to beep at you when you get too close to something. Generally, they activate at about 3 feet away, and you'll have an indication on your dash as well as the beep. You want to make sure that you always have your smart access key with you. That is how you lock, unlock, and start the vehicle from inside. You can also open the trunk with just a push and hold, and you have a vehicle alert button or an alarm. If you're still using this panic button to locate your vehicle in a parking lot, go ahead and change over to the Lexus app. The Lexus remote feature is now inside of the Lexus app. If you are getting a new Lexus vehicle, you'll have a trial period for Lexus Inform Remote. And that comes with the ability to locate your vehicle in its last parking place. So let's go ahead and practice using smart access to lock and unlock your Lexus. Make sure that your key is in your pocket or your bag. Any door handle that has an indentation means it is equipped with smart access. So if you put your hand in the door handle and just make contact, Those side mirrors will open automatically if the auto feature is on your vehicle and engaged. So my hand in the door handle, driver's side door, is just unlocking my driver's door. If I want to then open the rest of the vehicle, I would need to hit the unlock button inside, or because we have smart access on all 4 doors on an ES, I'm able to just touch the inside door handle of the back doors and I've opened the entire ES. Another option for unlocking the entire ES from the driver's door handle is to just leave your hand in the door handle for a few more seconds. Check this out. Driver's door, and that additional beep has let me know that the entire ES is now open. That's also customizable. So if you wanted to program your driver's door to unlock the entire vehicle, you can do that in settings in the system in the car. We talked about being able to power open the trunk on the ES. If you have a power trunk feature, you're going to see the push and hold button. If it's not power, it's going to just pop open and then you can lift it manually. But on this vehicle, if we push and hold, you'll hear a beep. It's going to power open. Or if the trunk is equipped with a kick sensor, you can kick to open and close. So the kick sensor is part of the smart access system. So you want to make sure that you have your smart key with you, and then you're going to just kick and retrieve your foot right at the center of the back bumper. Let's take a closer look at how that works. At the back center of the bumper, just kick. Step back, you'll hear a tone, and the trunk will power open for you. When you're finished loading or unloading in your cargo area, just simply kick again, and then it will close. So keep in mind that the kick sensor does not lock your vehicle. So if you need to walk away from your vehicle, you want to either lock on your smart key or with the indentation on the door handle. If you're opening your trunk with your smart access key, the button from the interior of the vehicle, or even the kick sensor, you always have the capability of closing a power trunk with the power trunk close button on the left-hand side of the trunk lid. Just push and release, and it will close for you. You can close your trunk manually with the handle that's located just on the right-hand side. Taking a look inside the trunk, make sure that you are aware of your front mount for your license plate on the front of the vehicle. This is required in many states, so do not discard. Your new Lexus vehicle should also come with a first aid kit that's Velcroed to the interior of the trunk. You'll have a cargo net stored neatly in a zip pouch. Let's take a look at how this zip pouch cargo net works. We just unzip to reveal the netting. You have hooks on either side of your trunk. Put those tabs in place, and you have a nice net with a solid base to keep everything neat and tidy. If you would like to connect the 2 center cords, this piece actually pops off and it has 2 connector points. You can simply hook that onto the back cord and then take the front cord and snap that into place. Now it will keep everything even better contained. If you need to access the tools or the spare tire area, you want to always put away your cargo net and completely store and remove the pouch. Because the clasps are plastic, you want to unhook from the D-ring, and let's remove that pouch. Now we have access to the cargo area. You're going to remove the carpet mat or simply fold it back. You'll see it says lift and hook. That lets you know that with this hook, you can clip into place right at the top, and then it keeps your hands free to be able to access the tools and the spare tire. When you're putting things back, make sure that you snap and snug right into place so everything stays quiet while you're on the road. So in this area, we have all of the tools for changing a tire, including a wheel lock key. So if your vehicle comes equipped with wheel locks, your wheel lock key will snap right into this storage spot. You want to make sure to hold on to that. To identify a wheel lock, look for the lug nut that has the wave pattern. That is your locking lug nut. Your wheel lock key matches to that lug nut. When you're finished, just lift up to release. Slide that back into its spot. Snap that clasp to close. And I like to always make sure that this felted panel is pushed neatly down into place. And then replace your cargo mat, and then you can replace your cargo net. When you're putting your cargo net back into place, make sure that the hook side is closest to the D-ring, and then you'll have better access to your netting. The ES and ES Hybrid use regular fuel. There is a button in the interior to open the fuel door. This is one of our vehicles that is not a push to release for the fuel door. So let's take a look at the buttons inside. Your fuel door release button and trunk release button are just inside the driver's door. Right below is the manual release for the hood. The first thing that every new vehicle owner should do is set a safe, comfortable position for their seat. The seat controls are on the side of the seat bottom cushion. You can move forward, back. You can lift the hip point up or down, and the front of the cushion supporting the front of your legs can also go up or down. You can tilt the seat back, forward, or back. You can even control lumbar support. Depending on the package on your ES, you may have an additional button to extend the seat cushion forward or back for front leg support. Once you have your seat positioned in the best spot for you, your next step is to adjust the side mirrors. You'll choose left and then right using the touchpad to make your adjustments. If you have auto folding mirrors, you will have either a toggle or a button that has a light. If you have a toggle, it needs to be toggled to the center. If you push to the left, that will open the mirrors. Push down and to the right, that will power close the mirrors. Toggle to the center, and they will automatically close for you when you lock your ES. We're going to go ahead and apply the brake and push to start. And now we can also adjust our steering wheel. Our steering wheel adjustment is with the toggle on the left-hand side. You can move the wheel up, down, to you, and away. Once you have your seat, your steering wheel, and your side mirrors adjusted to your preferred driving position, you're going to save the driver position memory. This is going to be in the driver's door. In the case of the ES, it's just above the door handle. We're going to push the word set, let it go, and number 1. So now the number 1 position is saved. I can have 2 additional saved positions. If after I've driven for a little while, I decide I want to make a change to the seat, steering wheel, or side mirrors, just resave. Set, let it go, and number 1. So if someone has driven your vehicle, like a valet or your spouse, and you need to just send the seat back to your spot, just push your number, and all of the adjustments will be made that you saved previously. You can even link your key to the driver position memory. Make sure to only have one key in the vehicle. The other key should be about 20 feet away. Once you've saved your driver position memory, make sure that all doors are closed and the engine is on. If the doors are not unlocked, press the unlock button and then simultaneously push and hold unlock and your driver position memory button. You're listening for the short and then long beep to confirm that the key is linked to your driver position memory. If you don't get that the first time, go ahead and repeat the process to push and hold, unlock, and your selected driver position memory button. Then, to take advantage of the linked key, make sure that your vehicle is locked. And then when you want to access your vehicle, unlock from the driver's door. Remember, this is using the Smart Access system, and it's part of the unlocking process at the driver's door. If there's enough adjustment in the seat position from your saved memory position, you'll see the seat begin to prepare, but it will still leave you more room to easily enter the vehicle. Notice what happens when I push button number 1. Then it will continue moving the seat to my saved position. You don't have to even worry about pushing your button. Just click in your seat belt and the seat will complete the adjustment for you. If your ES has a panel of buttons on the left-hand side, you may have buttons with features and some that are blank. If you have a blank button, it just means that there may be a feature available in another area that's not on the package on your vehicle. No worries. If your vehicle is not equipped with those features, instead of a bank of blank buttons, you'll have another detailed trim piece. If you have a heads-up display, you'll see the button to turn it on and off here. It's going to be visible only to the driver. The 360-degree monitor. Just push to activate. Even though it looks like there's a camera above the car, the cameras are located at the front, rear, and under each side mirror. When you're in park, you'll see a full rotation of the vehicle and the surrounding area. And you'll have 2 different view options for viewing around your entire vehicle. This is the see-through option, as though you're looking through the exterior of the vehicle. Just click on the bottom left corner for the view customization icon, and you'll change to an overhead view version. You can pause or play. And by clicking on the top left corner, you can customize the body color image. Just touch to select a color or use the Go Back button shortcut by your remote touchpad. When the vehicle is in gear, if you push the button to activate your 360 monitor, you'll see the front view and then a full 360 view on the right side of the screen. Just touch on the right side of the screen to zoom in at the front or rear of the vehicle. Touch again to return to the full view. You also have a customization available to hide or display the turn angle lines on the right side of the screen. This will show your intended path as you're turning the steering wheel. The center icon is not clickable. That just lets you know that this is more of a fisheye view. It'll show the cutout, and then it shows the dark pattern at the top in the center. That's representing what's directly in front of you. It's really designed to draw your eye out and to the sides, offering a better peripheral view. Notice this icon on the bottom left corner, which to me is really the most important feature. It's an auto feature. And if you click to turn that little blue light on, that means now when you shift into gear or you're driving at low speeds, maybe you're in stop and go traffic or you're coming to a stop at a light or a stop sign, this view is going to come on automatically. So helpful for parking. I can see my parking lines. I can even see the large pillar that's to the right at the rear of the vehicle. Shifting into reverse, if you have the 360 monitor, you're going to have that full bird's eye view on the right-hand side. Now you do have the option to customize the lens view. So a wider, more fisheye view or a more focused view, clicking just on the bottom left corner. Let's take a look at what the different lines and colors mean on the display. The yellow lines are your dynamic lines showing your intended turn. The blue represents straight lines and the center of the vehicle. That means when your yellow dynamic lines line up with the blue lines, you know the vehicle is parked straight. The red line means you're getting a little too close to your bumper because this black edge, that's your bumper, and you'll catch even some flashing of your license plate. That's completely normal to have that in view so that you have an idea of how close you are getting to something when you're backing up. If you do want to change what lines show on your screen, just use the line customization. Click on the bottom right corner. Now we've eliminated the yellow turning lines and we show this new added fixed blue line representing the turn angle, which would mean if you turned your wheel all the way to the right or all the way to the left, this would be your intended angle. Clear all the blue lines, go just to a red line, which is going to give you a nice clear view, but most people prefer the dynamic lines for ease of use. Moving down, you have a coin holder or small storage space. Now let's move up. Tucked behind the headlamp stock, we have the adjustment for the brightness of our instrument cluster. So the up arrow will increase the brightness, the down arrow will make it more dim. To the right, we have our odometer and trip meter button. So if you can take a look in this area, while I push the button, it will cycle us through trip A, trip B. When you see the wrench, that's letting you know how many miles before your next oil change. Keep in mind, you're going to service every 5,000 miles, but every 10,000 miles is when they typically do an oil change, unless the vehicle were to need it sooner. So if you don't reach 5,000 miles within 6 months, you still want to come in for service. So the rule now is every 5,000 miles or every 6 months, you should bring your vehicle into the Lexus dealership for service. Let's keep scrolling through that odometer trip meter button. Your next screen is blank. So if you ever get into your vehicle and you don't see your mileage, don't panic. It doesn't mean it's gone away. It just means it's been turned off because that's an option. Push again and you'll be back on odometer, showing the overall miles for the vehicle. Trip A and Trip B can be cleared if you're tracking mileage for work, for example, or if you're tracking mileage on a trip. Just push and hold. It will zero out. You can only do that on Trip A and Trip B. Your headlamp stock is located on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. On the end, you'll see a button to push. A simple push of the button on the end of the stock will turn on your automatic high beams. If you push the headlamp stalk forward, you'll manually engage your high beams. For everything to remain in auto, make sure low beams are selected to auto and high beams are selected to auto, and then just keep the stalk in the neutral position. If you have a circumstance where you would like to turn all of your lights off, just turn the dial to the bottom where it says DRL off. That means daytime running lights off. We have a parking light or daytime running lights only, and then the manual control for your low beam headlights. This vehicle has a lane change indicator feature where if you just do a soft press, either down or up, you get a certain number of clicks or flashes of your indicator, and that can be customized. If you're turning, you want to click fully down or fully up, and then the stalk will release as you come through the turn. The windshield wiper stalk is on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. The first set of information lets you know what function you're in. If you push up, you're going to get one swipe for mist, and then it will automatically come down to the off position. If your system says auto, then you have rain sensing automatic windshield wipers if you have turned them on. If it says INT for intermittent, then you're in charge of your windshield wipers. But for auto, we come down one click from the off position, and then we can adjust the sensitivity of the automatic wipers. Or what we're really doing is telling the car how little or how much water to respond to. So if it's not raining very hard, you might need to make sure that they're in the most sensitive position, and then it won't take quite so much water to get those windshield wipers to engage. If you want to manually control the wipers, just click down again for low, and then at the very bottom position is high. Low, back to auto. To clean the front windshield, you would just pull the stalk to you. Let's go through the buttons on the steering wheel. Starting on the left-hand side, you're going to see up, down, left, and right arrows, and the ES has a button in the middle that says OK. Some vehicles just have a dot. They all function in the same way. This is a go back button because all of these buttons control your multi-information screen. So it's really an operation control system for the menu. Mission control, menu control, you get the idea. Non-F Sport models have a large, round center bezel with gauges on the right and the multi-information display on the left-hand side. A few quick items to note for the multi-information display on the F Sport models. You'll see a notched center bezel that is inspired by the LFA. When the center bezel is closed, you'll have gauges on the top outside sections. You'll also have certain multi-information display content in the center below the digital speedometer. If you arrow down with the buttons on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you'll scroll through the items in the multi-information display. If you push the menu button, the go back button, your bezel will slide open, and then the multi-information display functions in the same way as the non-F Sport model. Moving right or left and up or down to access all of the information in your display. F-Sport models also have a G-force monitor in the information menu, and even a gear position monitor. And push the menu or return arrow button to close. So when you use the arrows to control the multi-information display, you can move left or right, and in certain screens, you can move up or down. So now that you know that this is what I'm using to operate that screen, I'm going to zoom you into that screen and talk you through the features that are available. Anytime we need to select something, we're going to be pushing the OK button right in the middle. If we need to go back, we're going to use our Go Back button. Now let's take a look at that multi-information screen. You'll notice that right now we are in the information menu. You'll see the I at the very top left circled. If we arrow down, we have additional fuel economy information, an eco indicator. This lights up as you're driving, tire pressure monitor, and a blank screen if that's what you prefer. Cycling back, because again, this is just a big loop. If I keep clicking down enough, I'll end up back where I started. If I go to the right, I'll have a compass, right again to music, right again to the screen that monitors our lane keep assist and cruise control. Right again, messages about service, including messages about low fuel. Right again, and into settings. At the top of our settings menu, you'll notice the icons on the left, the top 3 items. That means they all work together. That's for your lane trace assist feature. You can turn lane centering on or off. Choose your alert type, a vibration of the steering wheel, or an audible alert. Most people prefer the vibration of the steering wheel. Just push OK to select. You can also customize the sensitivity of your lane trace feature, standard or high. Customizations for your all-speed dynamic radar cruise control and curve speed reduction. Off, low, or high are the customizations that are available. Arrowing down, our pre-collision system, you can adjust the sensitivity low, high, or mid-range, which is the default setting. You can turn pre-collision off, but it is going to give you a warning to say, are you really sure you want to do this? And when you do turn it off, when you turn the vehicle back on, it's going to turn itself back on, because ultimately we would rather you customize the feature so that you can be more comfortable with it, but that you are not turning off that safety feature. It is there to mitigate an accident, and we would like you to have all the support you can when you are out and about in your Lexus. Arrowing down, blind spot monitor can be turned off or on. The blind spot monitor lights up in your side mirror. If there's a vehicle in your blind spot on either side, both mirrors will light. Keep in mind that it does have to be turned on, and the vehicle will need to be in your blind spot, so not right beside you where you could just turn your head to see it. So we want to make sure that you're still using your mirrors and not just relying on all the technology that is there to supplement your mirrors. Coming to PKSA, this stands for Parking Support Alert. Basically, things that beep at you when you're trying to park. If we push the OK button in the middle of all our arrows, we'll open that menu. You'll see parking sensors right at the top. You can turn them off or on. Coming down to rear cross traffic alert, off or on. Rear cross traffic alert detects vehicles in motion crossing at the rear of your vehicle. Rear camera detection, off or on. That's allowing your backup camera to look for pedestrians crossing at the rear of the vehicle. And you can customize the level of your audible alert. 3, 1, 2, or 3. Pushing the Go Back button. This is your auto braking feature. It's another layer of safety and it works with your parking support alert features. In this case, if rear cross traffic alert is notifying you that there's a vehicle crossing behind you and you don't come to a complete stop, then your parking support braking system will apply the brakes. It's looking for stationary objects with parking sensor response and moving objects when reversing with a rear cross traffic alert. If your vehicle has a head-up or heads-up display, you can select to adjust the brightness or raise or lower your heads-up display. When you're raising or lowering the heads-up display, you'll see a bracket around the entire display for a better reference point. Pushing Go Back. There are additional customizations for the heads-up display in another menu, and we'll get there in just a bit. You can customize your units from miles to kilometers. Opening vehicle settings. If you push OK to open Lane Trace Assist, you'll notice that we're actually customizing the sway warning information and the sensitivity for Lane Trace Assist sway warning. We're not turning Lane Trace Assist, the feature, on or off. Your sway warning will engage if you've had multiple Lane Trace Assist corrections in a row. The vehicle is concerned that you might be a fatigued driver. That's what that coffee cup represents. It thinks you might need some coffee. Or pushing Go Back. Blind spot monitor customizations. You can select a dim or bright visual alert. You can also adjust the sensitivity. There are 4 levels of sensitivity. Pushing Go Back. This symbol represents road sign assist. Pushing the OK button, we can come in and turn the feature off or on. We can customize for excess speed notifications, no notification, visual only, or a visual and audible notification. Most people prefer the visual only. And then you would come down and set your notification level. Pushing OK to open and select 1 mile, 3 miles, or 5 miles over the posted and recognized speed limit. Keep in mind that the camera is looking ahead for those speed limit signs, and there are times where it might not be able to see the sign, so you do still want to be on the lookout yourself. Coming down for other signs, stop signs, yield signs, right-of-way signs. Also, no notification, visual or audible. Pushing Go Back. Pushing Go Back again to get back into our vehicle settings. Rear seat reminder. The ES now has a reminder. If you've opened a rear door when you enter the vehicle, you will see a rear seat reminder pop up on your display when you turn the vehicle off and you're exiting the vehicle. Just an additional safety feature for rear cabin passengers. Heads-up display, additional customizations. You can choose to have the tachometer section either blank with an eco indicator bar that highlights as you drive in a fuel-efficient way, or the tachometer. Under HUD driving support, you can choose to have navigation, driving assist, information like the lane trace assist, markers, the compass, and audio information all appear or not, depending on your preference. Pressing go back, you can also adjust the rotation of the heads-up display. Push OK to select, and then use the right or left-facing arrows to tilt the heads-up display clockwise or counterclockwise. Just adjust it until you have it where you like it. Pushing go back, pushing go back again, and arrowing down, we still have more to our list. We can turn the kick sensor off or on if you have a kick sensor on your ES to open the trunk. Tire pressure warning system, scheduled maintenance, and oil maintenance are where technicians would come in after a particular service was completed, and then they would reset data, pushing go back, or in the case of the tire pressure warning system, they may set the pressure for the calibration for the system, or if you've changed wheels, gotten new tires, things like that, they would come in and recalibrate. Pushing go back again, coming down to meter settings, pushing OK to open. You can change the display language from English, French, or Spanish, pushing go back. Another place to adjust units of measure, you can choose to have an analog speedometer or digital. You have two drive information screens that can be customized. To make a change, just select Drive Info 1 or 2, select the item that you'd like to change, and then scroll through the list. There's a lot of different items you can choose from, speed-related items, time, how long has the engine been running, the range. Most people love to have the range on their first drive information screen. That lets you know how many miles you have left on the tank of gas that you have. Then you can push go back to exit the menu, go back again to exit meter settings, and now arrow to the right to see your customization. There's the drive info screen that we have now changed to the current bar type for fuel economy and the range, how many miles are left on the tank of gas. Shortcutting by pushing the left arrow button, push OK to open our meter settings again, and then you could customize Drive Info 2 if you'd like. Arrowing down, you can change from a 12-hour to a 24-hour clock if that's your preference. Pop-up display, you can allow certain items to pop up or not pop up, turn-by-turn navigation, telephone calls, audio operation messages, volume operation messages, and that brightness display that we saw earlier when we were adjusting the brightness of the lights on our instrument cluster. Pushing go back. There are two color themes available, blue and gold. Pushing go back. You can allow the eco indicator to pop up as you drive, just letting you know when you're driving in a fuel efficient way. And then you can restore the default settings if you prefer. Just click default settings and tell it yes. And then your factory settings have been restored for your multi-information display. Pushing go back. And I always like to arrow down until I'm right back at the top of the menu, and that lets me know the next time I come into settings that I'm right at the top of the display. Let's go back to our steering wheel buttons. We've taken care of all of our multi-information display buttons. This is our telephone button. The ES has one button to answer, hang up, or ignore. Just push. You can adjust your volume for phone and radio, minus for less, plus for more. Your voice command or talk button, you can give commands for the radio, navigation, Bluetooth telephone, all right with a touch of your button. The first time you push the button, it will give you an opportunity to do a voice training.
Before you start, consider viewing the available video tutorials or voice training functionality. Select the Do Not Tell Me Again option if you do not want this reminder again, or just push the talk button to continue. The tutorials and training will always be available from the voice settings menu.
Will it explore voice commands more in just a moment. For a deeper dive into voice commands with your Lexus, make sure to check out this video. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you have radar cruise control. Just push to turn it on, and you'll see your radar cruise control indicator right above your odometer trip meter. I'm going to turn it back off, just a push, and I want you to see that if you push and hold that button, your setting will change from radar cruise to standard cruise, where you're just selecting your speed. You're not using a following distance with the radar. Most people prefer to use radar cruise. Set your speed where you can increase, reduce. If you click cancel, then you can resume. But once you turn your cruise control on, set your speed, and then adjust your following distance. So let's take a look. If I click through the 3 different levels of following distance, think of this like a buffer zone. So if I'm pushing that button, that following distance button, I've got a long range, a mid-range, and a close range for my vehicle to slow me down and then speed me back up, depending on whether or not it senses another vehicle in close proximity to the front of the vehicle. It will also appear in your heads-up display. Our next item is that lane trace assist that we discussed. So on the ES, you have a more advanced feature called lane trace assist. So if you are using dynamic radar cruise control, so the system that we just talked about, if you have it turned on and set, then when you use lane trace assist, if the vehicle and the camera are not able to pick up on the lane markers, it's able to trace off of the vehicle in front of you. So let's use our multi-information display that we just learned about. Arrow over to the lane trace assist screen. It's telling us radar ready. It's showing an example of the front of the vehicle and lane markers. Right now, the lane markers are showing hollow. If they light up solid, then it means it's registering the paint or the markings on the road. If it's not able to see them and you have cruise control turned on and you're at high speeds on the freeway, it's going to be able to trace off of the vehicle in front of you. Lane trace assist. If you're not using radar cruise control, it's going to engage the part of the feature that I referred to earlier, lane keep assist. So if you start to veer out of your lane and you don't have your blinker on, whichever lane you're approaching is going to light up and flash, kind of like an orange color. You're going to get a vibration in your steering wheel, depending on the setting that you chose in the multi-information display. You'll even get a nudge or a correction, once again, depending on your customization. When you see the indication that Lane Trace Assist is on, if you push and release the Lane Trace Assist button, it will give you the message that Steering Assist is active. Push a second time, and it will tell you that Steering Assist and Lane Centering are active. Push and hold, and Lane Trace Assist will turn off. Push and release to turn the feature back on. The last few buttons on the right-hand side are for our sound system. So you can move through left and right arrows that will take you through your radio presets. It'll scroll you through tracks depending on what type of audio you're listening to. And you can change your audio source with your mode button. Just click through to change AM, FM, satellite, Bluetooth, you name it. If you push and hold your mode button, you're able to pause or mute your audio. Push and hold again to resume. Moving up from the steering wheel, you'll notice 2 additional dials. on either side of the gauge cluster. These are right within reach of the driver. Their position was designed by race car drivers. The whole goal was to minimize movement for the driver, so you can really easily reach from the steering wheel to the dial. On the right-hand side, you have your drive mode selector. You can turn the dial down for eco, and you'll see the instrument cluster light up in blue. Turn up for sport, and you have red. There's also a notification on the large screen as well. If you push the dial in at the end, we go to our normal mode, and so all of that lighting turns off. The drive mode selector affects throttle response. So if you dial down to eco, when you give it gas, it's going to try to help you be not quite such a lead foot. It'll help you to have the best fuel economy possible. If you twist up for sport, you're going for a more aggressive drive style. So it's going to be a little zippier, not necessarily fuel focused. When you turn the vehicle off, if you're in sport mode, when you turn it back on, it's actually going to automatically default to normal mode because of fuel economy. If you're in eco mode, when you turn the car off and back on, it's going to stay in eco mode. Same with normal. Eco or normal will stay when you turn the car off or on. Sport will default back to normal mode. Moving to the left, we have the option of turning off our traction control. If you push the button in to turn it off, it's going to give you a message that traction control is off. So we have another item that's here that you may have noticed. These are paddle shifters. You'll see a plus and a minus. So if you want to use the sequential shifter, which is a clutchless manual mode, you would shift up or down by clicking on the paddle shifters. So a right click is up and then a left is down. Sequential mode is accessed by applying the brake, squeeze the release on the gear shift, shift down to drive, which is automatic, and then just shift over to the left and you'll see the S for sequential mode or sport mode light up. You'll also notice a plus and a minus on the gearbox. You can tap up or down on the gearbox to shift gears as well. To move out of sequential mode, just slide it to the right and go back to drive. So most people with an ES are not going to be driving in sequential mode, but just know that you can. If you've gone to sequential mode accidentally, which can happen, just go ahead and slide it back to the right. That can happen even when you're driving along. If you accidentally go into sequential mode, just push it back to the right. No need to panic. While we're down at our gearbox, let's address the brake hold button. Our automatic parking brake or emergency brake, located under our engine start stop button, that's engaging for us every time we put the vehicle into park. This holds our foot brake. So you do have to have your seatbelt on. So make sure, click it or tick it, shift into drive, then you can push the brake hold button. When you push the brake hold button, you're going to see that green means the feature is turned on. The yellow-orange color means it's actively holding the foot brake. So take a look. Right now, my foot is on the brake, but if I release, the system has taken over and the system is holding. So if I needed to drive, if I tap on the accelerator, so let's say I want to move forward, when I come to a complete stop, so I am putting the brake on right now myself with my foot, but because I have brake hold turned on, if I let go after I see that yellow hold it means it's going to take over and hold the foot brake for me. This can be really helpful if you're, stuck at a train or something like that and you don't want to just keep applying the brake yourself. But if you forget that you have it, don't worry about it. Cup holders on the ES. Up front, we have a couple of neat little details. You can fold up to reveal a deeper space. If you push, then the little shelf comes down to make it more shallow for smaller cups. You have a cup holder up front, a smartphone holder here. This isn't a charger or anything, but you can just slip the smartphone in. You have 2 USB ports right here, and these USB ports are how you power Apple CarPlay. You do want to be plugged in with an actual authentic data certified cord, so it's always a good idea to go with a genuine Apple cord. Same thing for Android Auto. You can put your phone here and make sure to connect with a data certified cord. Plug into the USB ports right here in the center console. If you want to close things up, just gently push. CD player, single CD, eject, pause and play are going to be on the screen. We've got the buttons to control the heating and ventilated seats. The first push is going to go to automatic. That means it's going to choose what needs to be turned on based on the temperature inside the cabin as well as the temperature outside. So if you disagree with it, that's no problem. Just take over. So you can push the button yourself and choose from 3 different levels of fan or heat. Driver side, passenger side, heated steering wheel. The heated steering wheel also has an auto feature, and just push to take over. The steering wheel has 2 levels of heat and the seats have 3 levels of heat and cool. If your ES is equipped with a rear power sunshade, the button will be located by your seat and steering wheel climate buttons. Just push to raise or lower the sunshade. When you put the ES in reverse, the sunshade will lower automatically. Moving up our center stack, your radio power, volume, and tuner dial are all together, so they're very easy for the driver to reach. Push to turn it on or off. Turn the volume on the tall portion. The lower wide portion is your tuner dial. It's always nice to know about the hard button shortcuts that you have right at your fingertips. The radio hard button and media hard button will pull up your screen for those items. So just give the radio button a push and you'll see your sources. If you push a second time, if your radio was turned off, it will turn it on. If you're already on and you push again, it operates like a mode button and it will cycle you through your radio sources. Your media button is going to engage other music items like CD or a smartphone that's connected through Bluetooth or USB. Your seek and track buttons are similar to the buttons that are on the steering wheel, but the difference is that these buttons also take you through your radio presets. So if we click either left or right, we're actually moving up or down our favorites list. If you want to seek from the steering wheel, you push and hold and it will go to the next available signal. The buttons that are the hard buttons on the center console do not move you through your radio presets. They will allow you to seek just with a click up or down, or they will move you through tracks on a CD or an iPod or a smartphone connected through Bluetooth or USB. Our next buttons moving up are all for climate control. Automatic fan, When you turn that on, the vehicle decides what fan speed you need for the temperature that you've selected, as well as the temperature outside. If you increase, you can really hear it blasting us off. If you increase your temperature, you'll notice that fan speed will decrease. If you lower your temperature, that fan speed will increase again. If you want to take over the fan, you can either turn it off or manually adjust. Less fan, more fan, everything off. The position of the airflow is also important. So you can have face and feet, just feet, feet and defrost, face only. So we're cycling through those options in a drop-down menu unless you want to see them full screen. And if you want to see them full screen, you need to go to climate control. So we're going to push our menu button right down by the touchpad. Come over to climate, and then you have some additional menu items available, or click climate to open up the entire climate control screen. So as we cycle through, you can see where the air is flowing so that you're comfortable. Front defrost, rear window and side mirror defrost. Where's your air coming from? Recirculating air, outside air, or we have the option of auto. Now you'll notice right now it's not turning on, and that's because I don't have the fan engaged. Once I've engaged the fan, then it will let me select auto. That means the vehicle's going to use the smog sensor on board, the temperature I've selected, the outside temperature, and then it's going to decide, should I be using recirculating air or fresh outside air? We reviewed the hard buttons for seating and steering temperature adjustment. You can also take care of it right on the screen. If you'd like your Lexus to take charge of all of it for you, you can turn on the Climate Concierge. If you have the Climate Concierge turned on, you will see an indicator just to the left of the Lexus logo. This means all you have to do is adjust your temperature, and your Lexus is going to adjust everything else for you. All I'm doing is adjusting that temperature. Up, down, and you're seeing the fan engage, the heat engage, the heated seats, heated steering wheel, and that Climate Concierge will maintain all of those settings for me. All I have to do is change the temperature. Our last item on the climate screen is options that take us into another menu where we can turn on and off Climate Concierge, Eco Heat and Cool. If we want the system to cycle off of the heating and air conditioning system more quickly for better fuel economy, we also have a windshield wiper de-icer. This is handy in the colder months if you have a freeze or frost on your front windshield. Dual is something that you can turn on or off. Dual means that you have separate temperatures running, one for the driver and one for the passenger. Most people like to have separate temperatures, but only if you have multiple people in the car. So if you're going to be in the car by yourself and you want the temperatures to sync, so right now we have 71 for the driver, 80 for the passenger, we can turn off dual, and then they will sync and match the driver's position. So now we have a single temperature. If the passenger makes an adjustment, dual turns on automatically. It's not going to interfere with the driver's temperature. The last item is the ability to turn on or off the AC compressor. Depending on where you live, you're going to want to leave it on and let it condition the air and pull moisture out of the air. Definitely in Texas, we need it on. To clear out of options, you can push front. You'll notice that there's an additional menu item right at the bottom. There's a little double chevron symbol and it says setting. That is controlled with this button, the double chevron additional menu item button. Give it a push and you'll see those controls that you saw in the options menu. So it's just another way to get there. Climate Concierge, auto for the fan, off for the fan, and when we have things turned on, you'll have your AC compressor, dual, and again, eco heat and cool. Now, the easiest way to turn dual off is actually with this side menu. So all of the icons on the right-hand side of the screen can open additional screens. So if we click on the screen for climate control, you'll see all those controls that we were looking at previously. They're just condensed into a smaller size, but you've got your dual button right there. So if we want to sync up and go to a single temperature, just select dual or deselect dual in this case. To go back to our full screen map or to make any item full screen, just click on the bottom right hand corner and it will push everything away and open up your full screen nice and easy. Let's identify all of the icons that are on your navigation screen. The top left corner is your compass. It's also how you change the map orientation. Just click to select for a 3D mode, a 2D with north held at the top of the screen. And that means that the map is not going to turn as you turn, but the symbol that represents your vehicle will turn in the direction that you're traveling. And then the most popular view, which is a two-dimensional view facing the direction that you're going. So the map will turn as you turn. Here's our shortcut to the search menu. Map options to turn on and select point of interest icons. Allow traffic information to show on screen, like we're seeing here. Green, it's moving. Yellow, it's slow, and red, it's bumper to bumper. Route Trace will allow you to create your own path as you drive, and it leaves little dots along the screen. This is great if you're in an area that's not mapped well. You can create your path and then follow it back out. And then map data information. Push and go back. And go back again, or press your map button. On the bottom left corner, you can zoom in or zoom out. You can also zoom out or in with a pinch-pull motion on the touchpad or on screen. Pull your fingers apart to get closer or zoom in and bring them together to zoom out. This is like raising or lowering a camera above the vehicle, just as a frame of reference. Since we've explored the menu for climate control, let's take a look at other items in the menu. And again, we're just operating from the menu button, the go back button, and the touchpad. Or use the touchscreen if you prefer. This go back button operates your main screen. We've seen a go back button before on the left-hand side of our steering wheel. That's operating our small screen. Let's take a look at our main menu. Even though we do have a touchscreen operation now on the new ES, I'm going to use the remote touchpad for most things just so that my hand isn't in the way and you have an easy view of all the items that we're going to look at. We've already covered climate control on the far right. Let's move all the way to the other side and start with our onboard navigation system, destination. If we highlight destination, we can then click right on screen or slide up with the highlighter from the touchpad and shortcut to the search menu, our Go Home shortcut, recent searches, favorites, or contacts that are linked through a compatible smartphone. If we select and open destination, we have our full destination search menu on the left-hand side, and a lot of these are the same items that we just saw. Go Home shortcut right at the top, search. This is going to allow you to input an address. You can even use voice command right on screen, just in case you spaced out and forgot that you had a voice command button right on the steering wheel. Let's continue through our destination search items. You'll have a complimentary trial period for Destination Assist. That's a live operator that will help you to remotely enter an address into your navigation system. You can even voice command Destination Assist by clicking the talk button and saying, "Call Destination Assist" after the beep. Favorites, recent searches, emergency locations like hospitals, police stations, dealerships. You can use the Go Back hard button that's down by your touchpad, or you can use the soft Go Back button on screen. That means anytime you see an item with a left-facing arrow at the top of the screen, you can just click to go back. When you're ready to scroll down to the next page, because we do have an arrow indicating that we have more items available, you can highlight the arrow and click, or just touch on screen. Another opportunity to input an address, point of interest, or contacts from your compatible paired smartphone. If we push our map button, we'll also clear that menu screen. If you have your map open, you can shortcut back to that same search menu just by clicking on the search icon right on screen. Now, my favorite way to use navigation is by voice command. To tell the navigation system to take you to your home, that's where that onboard voice command button comes in handy. Go home. So let's put in a destination. Get directions to 9600 Grogan's Mill, Spring, Texas.
Here is the address I found. Would you like to go there?
Yes. When you see the cloud icon, that lets you know that your dynamic navigation is active and connected. It's looking for the optimal route, and dynamic navigation is part of the Lexus Inform subscription services that come with a complimentary trial on your new Lexus. You can review 3 different route options: quick, short, and alternate. And your dynamic nav is going to confirm the optimized route. You can use the Go Back button by the touchpad or on screen. You can come to edit your route, add a destination, delete a destination, or most importantly, set your preferences. When you set route preferences, they're going to hold and apply to future routes as well. If you would like your ES to allow freeways, make sure that Avoid Freeways is turned off. If you would like your vehicle to allow toll roads, turn off Avoid Toll Roads. And the same for restricted roads, seasonal roads, ferries, and border crossings. Once you've customized the route preferences, just click OK to return to your previous screen. You can view a turn list, click OK to launch the route, or just start to drive.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, then the route guidance will start.
You'll notice arrival time estimations on the lower left-hand side. And now you'll see that we have some additional icons. Route options will appear once you have a route in the system. You can view a route overview, the view on our previous screen, confirm your route type or choose a new route, and another spot to select and customize preferences. You can mute the audio for your navigation system right on screen. When you're ready to cancel the route, you can either click on the X or cancel by voice command. Cancel route.
Route canceled.
Nice and easy. Coming back to our main menu. We've already reviewed some of our audio information, but let's take a closer look at these on-screen soft button shortcuts. Once again, you can highlight your main item, which in this case is audio, and then you can either click on screen or highlight and select the item that you want to shortcut to using your touchpad, or use the touchscreen if you prefer. Sources are available at the top. You can even choose to reorder the sources if you have a preference for how you'd like to access your content. Coming to presets, and you'll see your preset list on the right-hand side. You can click on the slide bar and then just slide your finger along the touchpad. Click again to exit. You can click on the arrows to move through. And you'll notice that you have the option of 36 total presets that you can save in any order. So you can mix and match AM, FM, satellite, whatever you prefer. To save a preset, you're going to tune to the radio station. And you can use the tuner dial or, of course, voice command. Tune to 99.1.
99.1 FM.
Once you have the station playing that you'd like to save, select the spot to save your favorite and either push and hold on screen or push and hold with the touchpad. And then you can continue to save other favorite radio presets. To play a station, once you've saved it, you can either click with the touchpad or on screen or voice command. Tune to preset number 1.
Preset 1.
Radio replay is like DVR for your radio, so you're caching radio content. You can cache up to 20 minutes on HD stations and up to 60 minutes for satellite stations. You can pause. Once you have cached content, you can even rewind, come back to live, jump ahead, fast forward, or return to your original saving point. A really cool feature about satellite radio is that it has the capability of starting your content at the beginning of a song, and that will happen automatically. Coming down to station list, you're able to see stations available by genre for AM, FM, or satellite, or select all genres, and then all stations, and then scroll through the list. The sorting order is a little bit different for AM or FM, and it will ask you to create a station list. Since it's not preloaded into the system, it's based on the local area where you are. You can allow it to complete the list, and then once the list is loaded, then you'll be able to view available channels, available stations for the genres, for the source that you've selected. Coming to options, you can customize things like auto pause, which is going to automatically pause and start caching radio if your content that can be cached is interrupted by a Bluetooth phone call. Sirius XM Tune Start, you could turn that feature off if you would like, but that allows the content to start playing at the beginning of your song. HD radio signal for AM and FM can be turned off or on. FM information is on by default, and then you can turn on or off the scan feature. Coming down to our sound settings, you can adjust the treble, mid-range, and bass for AM, FM, or satellite. Even your Bluetooth settings have independent treble, mid-range, and bass customization. Your fader balance is adjusted here. You can choose to have the automatic sound levelizer on or off. That's going to allow your sound system to make minor adjustments based on the speed of the vehicle. And you can turn surround sound on or off. Coming back to our main menu, once you have a phone paired to the system, you'll be able to access call history, favorites, contacts, and a keypad. This is how the menu items look when you do have a phone paired to the vehicle. You'll see the shortcut access for call history, favorites, contacts, the keypad, and even text messages. If you have a compatible phone and you've allowed text messaging in your Bluetooth settings for the pairing for the vehicle. Now, if we click down on the phone icon, you'll see the same menu items on the left-hand side. You also have the addition of select a device. So if you have multiple devices paired to the vehicle and you decide that you'd like to switch from one phone to the other, you can do that right on screen. If we push go back, you'll clear completely out of that screen. So if you are on your phone menu and the phone screen, and if you've opened an item, just go ahead and slide your cursor back to the right or use your touch screen to access whatever you would like. You can, of course, scroll through your contacts, but the best choice, voice command, call Ava.
Ava has 2 phone numbers. Select the one you want.
Texting through the Bluetooth system is not quite as robust as texting through Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but you can receive texts and there are some automated replies that are compatible with the system, and it's going to depend on the type of phone that you have paired to the vehicle and the settings and permissions in your device and your device operating system. If you'd like to add a favorite, you're going to open your contact list, select a name, and then just click Add Favorite. And then that contact will be saved to your favorites list. If you've made a phone call and they require you to enter an extension while you're driving, you are going to notice that even if you opened the keypad, it's going to be grayed out. So you're going to enter those extensions by voice. You'll just click and release the voice command button on the steering wheel, and then you say the numbers for the extension that's required. If you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, the keypad might still be accessible depending on the settings and operating system on your device. Let's come back to the main menu. Coming to Apps, With a Bluetooth phone paired to the system, you'll have Lexus Inform App Suite capabilities through your Lexus app. If you need to update, make sure to do so. Once the update is complete, you'll see compatible app information. When you have a phone paired to the system through Bluetooth and you have an active Lexus account login, you'll also see infotainment and communication items available. Select to open. If we come to infotainment, you'll see compatible apps on the screen. Lexus plus Alexa is a feature that is available if you have an Alexa account. You don't have to have a paid Prime account, but you do have to have the Lexus plus Alexa app on your phone, the Lexus app on your phone, and you need to be logged in to both. Coming back to our main menu, projection settings let you know that your vehicle is compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. When you have your compatible device plugged into the USB port and you've given permission for those items to mirror on screen, you'll see Apple CarPlay or Android Auto appear here. Coming to Info. If you have a hybrid vehicle, you'll see the energy monitor as part of the eco or trip information screen. You can select trip information, history, or come back to the energy screen. You can select traffic incidents from the menu on the left-hand side to get additional information about traffic events in the area where you're driving. You can even take a look at a predictive traffic map that will allow you to look in the immediate surrounding area and project ahead 15, 30, and even 45 minutes into the future. This system is using traffic reports that's either historic or currently reported traffic information. Pushing Go Back. On Lexus vehicles with this type of navigation system, you have a weather feature. This is a feature that a lot of people kind of forget that they have, but once they're really aware of it, they absolutely love it. It's kind of the unsung hero of the information menu. You can see a current forecast, a 3-day forecast that will actually allow you to click into additional days for more information, a 6 and 12-hour forecast, recently checked locations, national or local city searches, and even a Doppler weather map. There's a small amount of zoom capability for the radar, with the plus and minus on the left side of the screen. Pushing Go Back, you can push Go Back again and come to Vehicle Alert History. This vehicle is way too new, so there aren't actually any service vehicle alerts at this time. The e-Owner's Manual is an electronic version of the Owner's Manual built right into the system on your vehicle. You can search by table of contents, keyword, visual, and there are even videos that you can watch right on screen. Pretty cool. Pressing the menu button to return to our main menu, and we come to our final item in the menu, Setup. If you hover over Setup, you can select Display. That will allow you to turn your screen completely off if you prefer. You can also adjust the contrast and brightness for the general view and the camera view. Coming back to menu, and this time let's click on Setup. Now, setup is pretty involved. We are just going to take a quick pass at most of the setup items. When you click on Setup, you're going to default to the General Setup menu with Clock right at the top. Depending on the type of system on your vehicle, you'll be able to select your time zone, allow daylight saving time to adjust automatically, or select on or off if you are in an area that either does not participate in daylight saving time or if your Lexus does not have an auto adjust for this feature. You can also allow auto adjust by GPS. If you turn off auto adjust by GPS, that will allow you to manually set your clock if you need a little additional extra time. You can customize the display language, English, Spanish, or French. And you're able to come back to that display shortcut that we saw previously. Coming down to our next page, Projection Settings. This is the first place you go to give permission for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Push and go back. We have another theme customization like we saw in our multi-information display. You can choose blue or gold. You can adjust the unit of temperature for that weather information that we saw previously, Celsius or Fahrenheit. Keep in mind that when you make a change to this unit of measurement, you are only changing it for the weather information. It's not going to change for the temperature readout on the car. That is set from the factory and can't be customized. Another place to adjust units of measurement. Auto change to screen used to be called auto screen change. What this means is, do you want the screen to change automatically? Most people prefer to make a selection for what they want to see on screen and then leave it there. So if you want to be in charge of what's on your screen, make sure to turn off auto change to screen. When it is turned on, let me show you what happens. If we choose to leave it on, and we come to our map screen. Then let's say we wanted to see something on the radio. We push our radio button, and if you don't take any action on the radio screen, after a few moments, it's going to default back to the map. So if that's your preference, then you would want to have auto change to screen turned on. There you go. Coming back to the main menu, back to setup, and we'll scroll back down to our next item. The selection sound, pointer sound, error sound, so if you've landed on something that's not clickable, all can be turned off. Or you can simply adjust the pointer sound volume. Feedback force can be adjusted with 3 being the most sensitive, 1 being the least sensitive, and then off, giving no feedback from the touchpad when you're on a clickable surface. If you're having trouble with the touchpad and for some reason you're just not wanting to use the touch screen, I recommend that you turn feedback force off or to 1, because feedback force will hold the cursor or the highlighter on a clickable surface, and you may feel like you have to work a little too hard to move the cursor. The other thing to do if you're having trouble with the touchpad is to adjust your cursor speed and take it to slow. The default is normal, and if you really get the hang of it, you can go to fast. Most people prefer normal or slow. The multi-touch command can be turned on or off. You can change your keyboard layout style, delete your keyboard history, allow the memorization for keyboard history, or you can turn that off, delete search history, and even delete personal data. If you choose to do delete personal data, you are going to be wiping out any customizations, radio presets, phone pairings, you name it. So make sure you're ready to do that before you do. If there is a software update available for the vehicle, this is where a technician would go to perform that update. And that would include Grace Note database updates and then any software information that they might need. Coming to Bluetooth, and this is where we go to pair a Bluetooth device. When you're ready to pair a phone, you'll just click Yes, and then follow the prompts. Open Settings, open Bluetooth, look for the car's device, click right on the words Lexus ES, click Pair, and Allow. Basically anything in the affirmative. You'll also be able to allow texting. When you're prompted about wanting to skip allowing message access, you can, or just click on the information menu on the screen of your phone and click to turn on Show Notifications. Once you have a registered device, you can add an additional device, remove a device, designate a device as the preferred device. If you have multiple devices paired to the vehicle, you would click to turn on preferred device settings, and then you can designate a preferred phone or a preferred audio player. You would simply click on the other phone in the list, and then you would select Move Up or Move Down to put them in the order of preference. If one phone is in the vehicle by itself, then the vehicle will connect automatically to that phone. But if you have all the phones in at the same time, it will connect to the phone in the number one preferred spot. Pushing go back again. If you reopen the Bluetooth menu, you'll see all of those options right on screen. Your registered device list, add a new device, remove currently paired devices, or come to detailed settings. Coming to audio setup, and radio setup allows you to manage smart favorites from Sirius XM. Up to 20 favorites can be saved. You can customize the number of radio presets that show on screen. You can just have one page of 6 if you'd like, or go all the way up to those 36 presets. Once you have a phone paired to the vehicle, you're able to come to Phone Setup to connect a phone, customize sounds. You can allow notifications for incoming calls, text pop-ups, email notifications if your phone is compatible, and you can choose your notification style. Coming to contacts and call history, most people prefer to allow automatic transfer. So anytime you make an update to your contact list in your phone, the next time you start your ES, your contact list will be up to date. There are additional customizations for text messaging, and you can even come to voice and customize details about the voice volume and what type of mode you have voice guidance in. You can allow voice recognition prompts to be off so that you don't get prompted at all, have minimal prompting, or a high level of prompting if you need more help with voice command. If you would like to train the voice recognition system to recognize your voice better, you'll go through the train voice recognition steps. If you would like the vehicle to teach you more about voice command, make sure to follow the voice recognition tutorial. Prompt interrupt, where the system is talking but you already know what you want to say. You start talking and you don't have to wait for the beep. It is something to get used to, especially if you have other people in your vehicle and they may be talking and interrupting the voice command system. You might want to turn that one off. Coming to Vehicle, maintenance reminders and maintenance history can be recorded here. You can set your dealer information and even call your dealer once your primary dealer has been saved in the system. For vehicle customization, door lock settings, one of the most popular things that people like to change is automatic door unlock. It comes by default where when you shift the vehicle into park, the vehicle unlocks. Most people like to turn that off so that when you put the vehicle in park, the vehicle stays locked. Another item that people like to customize is select doors to unlock. When you touch the driver's door handle with the Smart Access system, do you want only the driver's door to open, or would you like all doors to unlock? We have some great tech tip videos specifically about vehicle customizations. Make sure to check them out. To turn on valet mode, it's like locking a safe in a hotel. You select a 4-digit code to lock and use the same 4-digit code to unlock. What you're doing is locking out access and control of the screen. And we're going to slide down to our next page. Navigation customization. When you set your Go Home shortcut, I highly recommend that you set something close to home and not your exact address, just for safety. And under Detailed Navi Settings, you can come in and customize different buttons that might show on screen. And one of the most popular items to customize is to turn off the automatic freeway exit list. This pops up information on the right side of the screen about amenities that are available at specific exits while you're driving. Pushing Go Back. To set up the Wi-Fi on your vehicle, make sure to watch our Wi-Fi setup video tutorial. Turn on your Wi-Fi hotspot and follow the steps to set up your trial or paid subscription. Remember that the Inform App Suite content is inside your Lexus app, and it's going to give you a pop-up message telling you that it's using data from your cell phone because it is connected to your device. If you would like to customize the data message to Never Display, make sure to select Never Display. Coming to traffic, you can make customizations to avoid traffic specific to certain routes. Consider your ETA, all right on screen. Data services download source can be from HD radio and the DCM, which is going to give you the strongest signal for data services. Pushing Go Back, and that wraps up our setup menu. Vehicles without native navigation will have a home button on the top left-hand corner of the remote touchpad area instead of a map button. You'll also notice the standard screen size and a customizable home screen layout. It is still a touchscreen operation. Just push the home button to return to the home screen. To customize the home screen, press Menu, come to Setup, and Customize Home Screen. You can choose to change the layout from the current 3-tile layout to another version of the 3-tile layout that just flips the larger section to the left-hand side, or the most popular 2-tile format. Make sure to note that the section that says Navi App Info is not compatible with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. What you might want to do is select something like Audio and climate rather than the Navi app info section that really is an older technology than you're probably going to want to use on your vehicle. Now press the home button and see the new customized layout. If you'd like to zoom any item to full screen, just touch. Back to home. Your vehicle has the capability of linking to 3 garage doors or gates that are HomeLink compatible. Dome lights and personal lights are operated just with a touch. You can also have your lights set to door mode. When the button is pushed in and flush, then your lights will come on when you open a door. If the button is sticking out, then that means you've canceled that feature. So in order to have your dome lights come on when you open the door, just make sure to push it in so it's flush. Your controls for your moonroof are right here. If you open the moonroof, it will open the glass as well as the shade. You can also close the glass, leave the shade open, and even tuck it back a little farther. The shade is a manual close. And this button that says up and down will tilt the back of the moonroof just to bring a little fresh air into the vehicle. SOS button is under a small cover. Push this to reach an emergency operator. All new Lexus vehicles come with a trial period for compatible Lexus Inform connected technologies. The ES armrest is dual hinged. That means it can be opened from either side. Makes it very convenient for the driver and the passenger. It tilts up rather than back. So if it's closed and you're pushing here to try to slide or open, it's not going to do that. Just press to release and it'll pop open for you. Now, the model that I'm in has an optional Qi charger. This is a wireless charger. It does kind of like a trickle charge, so it's one of the slower ways to charge, but it does a nice job maintaining the charge on your compatible phone. So if your phone does not come with wireless charging capabilities built right in, you might have to look into getting a case for your phone that is wireless charging compatible. It does have to make contact with the pad in order to be able to charge. You can turn that feature off and on with the power button. Once you place your device on it, if it's not fully charged, it's going to turn kind of a yellowish orange color. We've got plenty of space to store other items right in your center console. It's a little hard to see, but inside your center console, underneath your armrest, you also have a 12-volt charger. So your 12-volt charger, your optional Qi charger. And if your vehicle does not have a wireless charger, you'll also have 2 USB-C ports right under the armrest. And then your USB ports that are for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and charging are going to be up at the front. Below the air conditioning vents at the rear center console, you still have a 12-volt charger, but the USB ports have been changed from USB-A to USB-C. The ES is equipped with that latch safety system for car seats. You just pop off the cover and then you have access to the mount. Your car seat instructions need to be followed based on the car seat manufacturer. So you'll see those attachments on both outboard seats. So the 2 main seats have two attachment points. The center seat does not have those lower attachments. All three back seats do have top tethers for car seats. So you can put 3 car seats or boosters into the back seat of the ES. You just want to make sure that you are properly following the instructions that come with your particular car seat. If your ES is equipped with rear window shades, you'll see the tab for the main window shade right at the bottom. Just gently pull up and lift into place. Push away and up to release the shade from the hooks. The small section has its own shade. Just pull out and hook into place at the back. When you want to retract the small shade section, just pull away gently from the hook and then slowly let it retract back into its storage spot. In the back seat of the ES, if you pull down on the loop that opens the center armrest, you have cup holders and you have access to a pass-through. The pass-through is for longer cargo that might fit through into the trunk. What you want to make sure of is that if you are valet parking your vehicle, if you have items that are in your trunk, to keep them more secure, you want to lock that pass-through. Let me show you how to do that. Inside your smart key is a metal emergency key. See that? All you have to do is push on the dot where it says push and then release that metal key. This key will lock your pass-through and your glove compartment. And inside your glove compartment is another step that you need to take to secure your trunk if you have items in the trunk that you would like to keep secure and you're valet parking your vehicle. To lock your pass-through, make sure you have your metal key. You're going to really want to hold on to it. You don't want it to fall and get lost in the seating. So hang on to it. Slide that in. You may have to fiddle with it a little bit. It's a little hard to see because it's dark in this area. Then just twist to the right, remove the key, and now your pass-through is locked. Just do the opposite to unlock. Key goes in, twist to the left, remove the key, and now we're open again. So once you lock your pass-through, let me show you the step you need to take in your glove compartment. Looking at our glove compartment, we have the button to release. So right now it's open. Then take a look inside. You have a trunk cancel button. This cancels the functionality of the power trunk. If you push that and it's sticking out pretty far as it can, that means the power operation on your trunk will no longer operate. Whether you have pushed the button inside the vehicle, at the back of the trunk, on the key fob, kick sensor, you name it. If it's power operating, it's not going to function. So if you want to restore the functionality, push that button in, then your power trunk's going to work again. But if you want to do a valet lockout, you can cancel your trunk mode, your power trunk mode, close your glove compartment, use your metal key. You might want to use a little flashlight if you're having trouble, but just slide it in. You should not have to push hard. You just have to find the correct way to line it up. Twist down flat, and now it's locked. Slide that key out. This is locked. And if you have now locked your glove box and your pass-through, you take this with you when you valet park your car and give them the key fob without the metal key. So they can lock the car, unlock the car, and start the car, but they can no longer power open that trunk. With hybrid vehicles, access your multi-information display, arrow to the information menu, and scroll down to see the energy monitor screen. This is a smaller summary screen right in your multi-information display. There's an additional summary screen on your large centered display. The energy monitor is going to be like a summary screen of energy consumption or energy storage as you drive. Keep in mind that it's not precise and that this is just a simple representation of the hybrid battery. It's not showing exact voltage, energy storage capacity, or the charge level of the battery. When the gasoline engine turns off, the EV icon pops up on the lower right side of your instrument cluster. This does not mean you're driving in the selected EV mode. This just means that currently you're operating on all electric power. When the gasoline engine is running, you'll no longer see the EV pop-up icon on the right-hand side of your instrument cluster. If your ES is a hybrid, you'll have the addition of the EV mode button. Activating EV mode will require driving at very low speeds. It's predominantly about limiting emissions, and it will allow the vehicle to operate in all electric mode for a short period of time. It was created for areas that have very strict emissions ratings and even the consideration of reducing noise pollution. It is typically used in parking structures, and even though you might be thinking, oh, it's operating in all electric mode, I'm going to save on fuel, it actually is a heavier draw on the hybrid battery, so it is going to require the gasoline engine to turn on more often in order to rebuild the charge on the battery. So if you are experimenting with using EV mode on a regular basis, you might not see the fuel economy that you would like. So just keep that in mind as you're working with and learning all about your Lexus hybrid. When you press the EV button, you'll have a message letting you know EV mode unavailable, hybrid battery low, if you need to have a stronger charge for the hybrid battery in order to use EV mode. If you see that message, don't worry. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the vehicle. It's a precautionary measure that's in place to protect and extend your hybrid battery life. Just allow the system to continue to operate in full hybrid mode, accessing all electric power as it can, and then turning on the gas engine as necessary in order to give the power that you're asking for or to help support the charge of the hybrid battery. Well, that's a wrap on our 2022 Lexus ES deep dive tutorial. If you have any questions or you have a different feature on your Lexus that I wasn't able to review here, make sure to leave it in the comments below and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks again for tuning in to the Lexus Virtual Classroom, and we'll see you next time.